there's a bit of background that I've thought about. I'm like, yeah, a lot of people wouldn't know this. To me, this wouldn't be normal. But then it's like, dude, when did he leave office? As you were a kid. So the thing that people have to know about the millennials won back the Republican Party. From whom? The deep state. Nobody really gets, unless you're a good follower, solid follower of somebody like Alex Jones, you most likely wouldn't know that George Herbert Walker Bush, the vice president of Ronald Reagan, and then the one-term president after Reagan, he was director of the CIA. His actual family, I think the Walkers or something, it's like the Bush family and the Walker family, those people were like old money up in New England. They had been doing business with Germany as Hitler was rising to power, and they got punished by the American government. So they dumped whatever they were doing and essentially moved to Texas and got into oil. And they got into oil with some other consortium of people, and eventually Aramco, Arabia's thing, like they have a tie to them, and this is how OPEC forms. But a big thing is that these guys had all these friends in the Reich. That's why we have all these former Nazis who come over here to form the CIA, and that's so. This consortium of industrialists are what created really the Pentagon and the intelligence networks. So when H.W. Bush is there as vice president, this is them openly taking over the party. And they had hold of the party until the millennials got them out. And note, when the millennials first were just like, well, you guys have just very inconsistent ethics and morality, and it shows through your political decisions. But eventually this became, like the Alex Jones end, where they're like, you guys are just whacked out glowies that seem to have some kind of thing you want to do to the world. And people started to really figure it out. And it's the young who've encapsulated this into memes, into very, very tight videos, terms everybody understands. Now everybody understands this idea of glowies. So this is why W was sort of a weird inheritor of the government in a dynastic way that Republicans didn't like. This was really, there was a lot, this chafed people enough. And then the way that the wars went, it actually, that's where it kind of begins, that the fall of that end of the Republican Party really begins. And by the end of the W period, it was a bad scene. So that's why the millennials saved the party. They really did. And so what's interesting is how they also have completely changed how everyone's discussing politics. Like, they've actually altered the Overton window shape. Specifically the millennials, and now Gen Z is taking it on even further. And it's a good thing. It's a very good thing in the long run. I'm just really, really, really thinking about this now, that to think especially the memes. And so there's a demographic that them and older, they have no idea what's going on in the news. They're years behind on information, and all the time don't know basic things that are happening in the congressional hearings with Fauci and CDC, and and so it's an interesting time to see this shift. But without knowing that context, you wouldn't really understand the true power of the deep state.